Okay, YouTube, this is Acid Roots. I've got a Marilyn Manson review, and that is his 1998 album, Mechanical Animals. So, when I reviewed Antichrist Superstar back in July, I was not paying attention to the theatrics of it, which I really wasn't aware of the singles and that sort of stuff, so I've begun to start hearing Marilyn Manson on the radio, and a couple songs that I recall hearing are The Beautiful People and Sweet Dreams. Now, Sweet Dreams is a cover song, but that actually came out in '95, and the point where I'm going with this is that Marilyn Manson was kind of brought to us by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. At first, he was the one that signed Manson, the band, to his label, and then they proceeded to drop some stuff. So Manson's first album came out in 1994, which I'll probably get to reviewing. They dropped an EP in '95, and then his breakout year came in 1996. Now, when he had said that, the thing with Manson was he said that Antichrist Superstar was going to start off a trilogy of albums. Now, the thing about it is it's in backwards order. So, I mean, that probably means that you would want to start with Holy Wood, then go to Mechanical Animals, and then finally Antichrist Superstar. Now, if you're not looking for a completion sake and you're not trying to sift through the whole albums, the trilogy of albums storyline, there is a heap, and I do mean a megaload of singles to relax to. Antichrist had 4, and Holy Wood had 3. This album basically has 4. So there's a lot of promotion going on for this, and it's just a good time. It kind of tries some different styles, though. I mean, I feel like Manson has kind of done a similar single with Disposable Teens and Beautiful People, and he does do that again with Rock is Dead, but it does do some extra things on this project. So, they call it, I looked it up on the internet, they call it glam metal, but to me it just feels, it probably is glitzy, but in reality, it feels more of like an electronic, but then keeping Manson's shadowy appeal. So that is the stuff that I've managed to gain from that. I mean, it always kind of feels as if he just oozes over the record. His voice has this drawl that is not shrill, and it's not jittering, and it's not unnerving, but it just kind of sinks into your head, and it's almost like one big mind fuck. But, you know, I've talked about this countless times. I've pretty much said this since July of 2015, but it continues with this. And I'm getting to the point where just getting the Manson album trilogy that this is in, I'd recommend just to go and get all 3 versus starting with his newer stuff, because he hasn't really done this again. So, but to say some of the good moments on here, The Dope Show, I appreciate that song quite a bit. That one really is one of the ones where I feel like it feels real snaking and mellow in a dark way. It just feels kind of like that's another shadowy record for you, is that one right there. The next one is I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me. Now this one's a little bit more upbeat, but kind of similar to the Fight song off of Holy Wood. I feel like, you know, both of these kind of try different approaches. Manson can do high octane songs, but it's kind of half and half, and this is one of the ones that kind of feels more of a upbeat song, but it's not at the same time. So that's the thing to know. And Then finally there is Rock is Dead, which I described as similar to the Beautiful People song. So all three of these songs charted, and this is probably one of his most successful albums. I think it went platinum. So, Manson was on a high. Some folks, it might be popular opinion that this is kind of where he lost his touch, but I don't want to have anything to do with that sort of belief, just because the songs are just as good. Now, if you're paying attention to the lyrics and you feel like his topics or it feels sluggish or something like that, I just don't see how any standard complaint as to it could be held against Manson as if he's not working at this time. I do think that this is an album that you shouldn't ignore, and songs like Post-Human, User-Friendly, Last Day on Earth, I Want to Disappear, Rock is Dead, these all take care of it. So this should be a popular record, and there's lots of records on here that if you're just looking for the radio-friendly songs to immediately go to, I'm going to list a few of those as well. But, okay, so I like 10 out of 14, and the songs are Dope Show, Mechanical Animals, Rock is Dead, Post-Human, I Want to Disappear, I Don't Like the Drugs but the Drugs Like Me, New Model Number 15, User-Friendly, The Last Day on Earth, and Coma White. Now, Coma White is another song that was a promo single, so that's a fourth one for you guys if you want to investigate further. But, yeah, go for Post-Human. That one is a rock-based song. That one has rougher appeal. User-friendly, kind of has some of that electronic sound to it. The Dope Show is a great radio song, and you'll probably hear it on the radio somewhat. And Last Day on Earth kind of feels like a new style for Manson. So a lot of these have their perks to them. But, yeah, I'm thinking, you might as well go for these. So this record is going to get a 9 or a 9.5. I mean, I suppose I could give it a 10 just out of the idea of how good the album is. But the only other thing to note is the social score, which I will give a 9 just because there were 4 singles and they all got radio airplay. So this was a good moment for him, and it happened to, people were talking about it, so it had the word of mouth working in its favor, but also it had the bite to back it up. So that's really the best part, is just the fact that, folks knew who he was, but it wasn't weak or shallow or anything like that. So the future Manson is coming out with an album that, as of right now, it's going to be called Say 10, which is Satan, basically, if you say it. And can this record be topped? The answer is not really. So few more just to say again, the records I recommend heading to first are The Dope Show, Rock is Dead, Post-Human, and User-Friendly. Those are some immediate ones. It shouldn't take long to realize that this album is a hot ticket.